Hello, people. My name is Maddie Schmidt, and today I've got a very special guest, a fellow Florida Gator and NFL draft prospect, Jean Delance. Jean, thanks for joining me. How are you today?
Thank y'all for having me. I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be on.
You've been a busy guy lately, preparing for the NFL draft, and Florida's Pro Day was this week. How did that go?
I had a really good day, actually. I hit all my numbers, and I feel like I went out there and I showed a lot of scouts and a lot of teams that I'm capable of being a really good player at the next level.
What would you say was one of your biggest strengths that you were able to show off?
Just definitely my athleticism across the board, from the broad to the 40, all the way to the shuttle, the 5'10", 5 shuttle. I just think I showed a lot of different things in my aspect of moving, like just my functionality wise, and being an athletic offensive lineman.
Everybody has them and nobody likes talking about them. Weaknesses. What would you say is your biggest weakness?
I mean, first of all, I think probably one of my biggest weaknesses would probably be, I'm a little underweight, weighing in at 303, 304, 305. Come around, camp and eventually the season, I want to probably be about 310 or so, or a little bit heavier. But some of my weaknesses within my game, I probably would say just my, attacking guys at the line of scrimmage, just knocking people off the ball, extremely aggressive, will be something I can work on, which I improved a lot from the 2020 season all to the 2021 season. But I think that would be like one of my minor weaknesses. And then just also, my play strength. I feel like I got a lot stronger here in this draft process and this draft prep and my pro day prep. But just putting it on film is something that a lot of teams would like to see. So I went out there and did the 21 reps on the bench, and that helped kind of end that discussion.
Yeah, it's a process. That's great that you're working on it. You've been fortunate enough, Gene, to meet with multiple NFL teams, one of which being the Chargers. Before I ask you how those conversations went, I want to know how they felt talking with representatives from NFL teams. I mean, you probably used to dream of stuff like that.
Definitely. I mean, it was like it's a lifelong dream come true. Honestly, I can't believe it that I'm here within this process, but I'm living in the moment. You know what I'm saying? My heart is where my feet are at, and I'm just taking this process one step at a time. But obviously, it's overwhelming just being like, okay, from a kid, 10 years old, looking up until this point, like that step is so much more closer here in a few weeks that it has been my whole life. So it was very overwhelming, but the process is going great, and I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome. I can't even begin to imagine. So, how did those conversations go, specifically with LA?
I mean, it went really well. They feel like first I would say our first encounter came in at the East West Shrine Bowl in Vegas. We sat there and talked the whole time. The available time we had to talk and meet. It was a great process. They like me as a player. They like my flexibility within the offensive line, where I can play guard, tackle, left tackle, right tackle. They see me as a five position guy where I can play eventually, working into that center spot. So I mean, they really like the things I can do. They like my strengths, being long. I mean, a little bit being about 6'4" is kind of okay, not the average length, average height for tackles in the NFL, but the things that I can do with my length outside on the edge, and then my athleticism being inside is ultimately something they really like about me. So the conversations went really good. I mean, they were impressed that, ultimately guys was just like, you're flying under the radar. Why are you so underrated? Come on, like guys got to be seeing what we're seeing. So yeah, it went really good.
That's good to hear. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, let's backtrack for a second and go back to your journey as a Florida Gator. You've been through a lot and you've dealt with adversity. What was your final season in the orange and blue like?
I mean, it was not what we wanted to be, but it was, it was my senior season. I took full advantage of it, had fun with those guys, the younger players. I mean, ultimately the goal is every single year win championship, whether it be the SEC championship, a national championship, a bowl game championship. Always the goal is to win a championship, and we build on that, and we lay the foundation throughout the off season, the summer workouts, eventually going into the preseason, and just getting ready to be a great team. And ultimately, we didn't end up how we wanted to be, but I can say that the brotherhood is forever. I love those guys. Those guys are going to build on that and become a great team this year with Coach Napier. So I'm really excited to watch them play.
Love to hear that. You did a lot at the University of Florida. I would assume you learned a lot. You even played some guard early on in your career. But I want to know, what was it like having to block for two very different quarterbacks, Emory Jones and Kyle Trask?
I mean, they're night and day with arm talent. They're night and day with just how they function, how they maneuver the offense, and like they're completely different players. I mean, Emory Jones, he's a guy that can get in the quarterback. I mean, the pocket, and he can move around and escape and become a very threatening guy when he's on his feet. He can take off 15 to 10 yards with those explosive plays. Kyle Trask, I mean, he's a guy when you see him sling the ball, he's slinging it, and he's very, very accurate. So you got to think about that. He's sitting in the pocket and relying on his height and his arm, he's going to get you where you need to be on the field. And I mean, I think it helped my game even more just having those different type of quarterbacks in our system, to having a system where you can have a guy escape from the pocket 4 or 5 seconds down the field, and he's getting you 10 yards, getting your first down, compared to a guy like Kyle Trask, who's going to sit there, hold it, and just check every check mark down the field and get the ball down the field really, really good. So that's a guy that I can say both of those guys helped my game a lot, tremendously.
Definitely made you a more versatile player.
Yeah.
How was it playing in the SEC, going up against some of the best pass rushers in the nation?
It's overwhelming. Every week you got a guy that's really good player, but you sit down, you evaluate his weaknesses, his strengths, then you take it from the schemes, and then you look at how the guy performs from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. You know, what are the things that I know I can keep on him to keep him at his game or his peakness, to where, okay, like he's always got to be on point playing me, whether it be on pass setting, running the ball, a quick set, a jump set, overly aggressive in the run game. How can I keep these guys on his toes from the first quarter to the fourth quarter? But like the talent level in the SEC is tremendously like NFL ready guys. So you have to be prepared every week to be on your A game, honestly.
It's a tough atmosphere every weekend.
Every week.
So, Jean, obviously, it is your athletic abilities that get you to the NFL, but that's not all that matters, and that's not going to keep you in the league. The NFL values your mindset, it values your future, it gives you a platform, a ginormous public platform. You're more than just a football player. Tell me what you're involved with outside of this sport.
I mean, from outside of the sport, I'm probably more so involved in just my community. My grandma, she has multiple myeloma. She's a cancer patient. She's going back into another rounds of chemotherapy. So I'm very involved in just how can I give back to those who are underprivileged and that has a lot going on within their lives. That's my biggest focus. How can I wake up and impact somebody else's life today? From a personal standpoint and a mental standpoint, I'm always sharpening my tools, whether it be looking at film or just watching guys learn the game, looking at guys that I look up to that are 4 or 5-time Pro Bowlers who've been doing it for 6, 7, 8, or 9 years now at this point. But with from outside of just the football facility, I'm a guy who's like looking to help people. Honestly, I'm trying to put a bright smile on their face, brighten up a day, and just be a guy that leaves an impact, honestly, in somebody's life.
That's awesome. First off, I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother. I'll be praying
Yeah.
for her. If you were given the opportunity, how would you use the platform that the NFL provides for you?
First and foremost, I would take it back, like I said, into my community, Dallas. Actually, I will build. I want to get into more so building a lot more, whether it just be recreational areas, but going into these impoverished and poverty neighborhoods and probably just looking at the kids and be like, okay, this is my life story. This is what I've done. How can I help you? Come down. Let's have an assessment. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Let me know your name, let me know your background. Let me know your family history. How can I help you? And then we can build on attacking the neighborhood as a whole. But if you don't know those people individually, you can't get to the bottom of what the situation or assess what's going on in their lives personally. That's going to help them have a better chance at succeeding in life. So I want to help people, from that standpoint. Oh, he's an NFL player. He's this. That's going to attract people, let alone just the name NFL. And me being an office lineman and a people person, I feel like I can help people on a personal level. So that's something I want to do, especially younger Black men. I want to get into their lives and be very vocal.
That's great. I hope you get that chance. Before I let you go, Jean, I want to give you the opportunity to add anything else. What do you want fans out there? What do you want NFL teams out there to know about Jean Delance?
I mean, at first I want the NFL teams to know that I'm a guy that's going to come in and work hard. I got a very, stricken of a mindset to where I want to come in and work hard every day, whether it be getting better at something small or big, but I'm coming in with with the capabilities of becoming a rotational player, eventually becoming a starter. But, you know, like you said, mental standpoint, I want to prove to people that I can come in, work hard mentally, learn the schemes, learn the offenses, and just get to work. I'm a nitty-gritty offensive lineman, take it back to the old school guys, and we just run the ball, pound the ball, pass protect, whatever it may be. I'm going to only get better from this point on out in my career.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I'll be looking for you come draft time.
Thank you, Maddie. Appreciate it.